Say if you feel burnt out, take a nap.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, if you guys are new here, I'm Fancy Plant. You guys can call me Planties. I'm a full-time college student, part-time audit intern, and tonight we're just yapping. This is a new style of video stream that I'm going to be hosting, and it's definitely something that I'm really interested in continuing for the foreseeable future. It is going to be a stream where anyone can call in live and we can just chat and talk about life, talk about challenges that people are facing, or talk about anything that people are interested in talking about, really. Sorry. We got our first call. Hello.
Hey, Fancy, how's it going?
It's going well. And who is this? Is this Murder Bird?
Yes, this is Murder Bird.
Thank you so much for being my first ever caller. How's your day going?
It could be better, could be worse.
Do you want to talk about it?
Basically, the main highlight was that originally I was trying to finish my associates within the year, and with the program, I had to switch programs because the classes I had to take for that program were going to end of spring of next year. And with my internship coming up and with the amount of classes I had to take, it wasn't really feasible for me. So my academic advisor recommended me two options: either transfer to a different school or switch to the medical office administration program. So I chose the latter.
Okay, and what was your
then,
associates was supposed to be before switching it over to this new associate's degree?
It was office administration only. It's just different field.
Oh, okay. How do you feel? And you decided to switch it over to the medical office?
And after discussing it with my parents, they said, it's a better option than just working as a typical admin assistant. So I was like, cool. I thought I would still maintain graduating within the year, and then realizing today only my academic advisor scheduled the courses for me, and I have to be finished in spring of 2027. So I was a little bit bummed out.
Spring of 2027?
Not 2026.
So why would they have you switch your associates to this different one if you wanted to graduate this year, but then this one still pushes back that graduation date?
Okay. Yeah. Simply because the previous program I was in, the core classes for that program were going to end in spring 2026. So based on the amount of classes I had to take, plus the internship that I signed up for, it wasn't feasible for me. I would have to take like 4 or 5 classes, which is
at once. Yeah, that definitely.
Yeah. So and then I sort of burnt out about that. But say if you feel burnt out, take a nap. Just take a nap.
Definitely, I think sleeping on it will definitely help. After thinking about it a little bit, how do you feel about switching your associates, especially seeing that it's gonna push back the date of graduation to 2027?
I talked with some other people in other communities. It's like how I thought to myself, you know what, just finish it. I think my parents would also be in that same vein. Right now they're out of town, so yeah.
How do you feel about the new associate's degree then, about that field, the medical field?
It's just administrative work, but more geared towards a specific niche. So I'm not too bothered or worried about that specific niche.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind it at all.
Is it something that you're interested in pursuing for a career, or do you have any ideas of what you would like to do after college?
Oh no, I already graduated. That's the thing. So this is more like a career switch. So just to give a brief summary, I hold a bachelor's degree in computer science, but then decided to switch to office administration.
Oh, wow. So, what made you decide to switch from computer science to office administration? And then I guess now medical office
Uh,
administration?
yeah, it's just like working in IT feels too stressful in general, but
Mm-hmm.
as long as that, yeah, so that's my initial thought process. But the internship I'm going right now is data analytics, but it's all remote and I won't have to be as stressed out as before.
Right.
So, so for me, it's more about how the work environment is, like how my supervisor is, how my coworkers are, like that. It, that's what makes it or breaks it for me.
I agree. I think definitely having a work environment, a positive work environment, definitely has a big impact on how people feel about their jobs. So you
Yeah.
mentioned an
And
internship that you're about to do, or have you started it yet?
I there's still some paperwork that I had to send out, but I was burnt out as I mentioned previously. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's some communication needs to be done with my supervisor, my would-be supervisor, and me just submitting some paperwork to my counselor.
That sounds pretty cool. How did you hear about this internship?
So I am connected with a Autism Society for my specific state, the one I
Mm-hmm.
talked to myself
Of course, duh.
of, and they have very good connections with specifically with the state government. Like that's how I got my first internship with them as an admin, working with the state library, essentially uh, um, helping developing counties handle and manage their public libraries, and also some college and university libraries as well. So
Wait,
that
that
is,
sounds really cool.
and the, yeah, so that is where I worked, which was my first internship. And then the one that I'm about to be in is
Mm-hmm.
going to be working with the state of commerce. So, and I'll be doing more like data analytics work, like looking at database. So my responsibility would be like quality assurance, like uh, within like databases to make sure like whatever the user has entered to make sure they're entering it correctly. And then I don't know the second part of the project is it's like more statistical analysis, like gathering a bunch of surveys and creating like a statistical analysis on that. I don't know about that part. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what entails my internship.
That sounds pretty cool. How long do you know how long your internship's gonna last? Is it just gonna be for the summer?
Uh, it's gonna it's gonna last for 6 months.
Oh, so a pretty good internship. And you said you mentioned you
Yeah.
worked with them before or a similar
Uh,
department before?
yeah, different departments. So the state library, I was with the Department of Cultural and Natural Resources,
Uh-huh.
and this one is different. Like I mentioned, it's with the Department of Commerce.
Mm-hmm. Did you
So,
did
yeah.
you have to do any like interviews or fill out anything for to get this internship?
Uh, for this internship, I didn't really have to do anything because I'm already connected with since the Autism Society is connected
Mm-hmm.
to the local state government,
Mm-hmm.
which help. helps give opportunities for autistic people like myself in job opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big perk. Yeah.
For sure. How did you hear about this society? Did you learn about it through your school, or did you just happen to come across it some
Um,
other way?
I actually came across it after like a year or two after I was diagnosed with ASD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was one program that I knew about after receiving the diagnosis, but that had a pretty long wait list. And then uh, I moved away for a couple of years, and then after I got laid off from my previous job, then I sort of started looking into it.
Mm-hmm. How did you, if
So
I ever ask any questions that you do not feel comfortable answering, just let me know. But
oh
how did
yeah,
you
for sure.
feel about your diagnosis?
It was just like a oh kind of moment. Okay, like oh okay.
That makes sense. I feel like because something I think I need to get tested one day. I would like to get tested for maybe ADHD, and just as I don't know, and it's something that well, one doctors, but I've always
Yeah,
heard like online whenever people do find out their diagnoses or receive their
yeah,
diagnoses, it helps them kind of figure out their life a little bit more or figure out how to approach life specifically
yeah,
because
yeah.
have have you is was there anything that you kind of changed with your approach to life after your diagnosis?
Um. So not when I first heard about it, I felt like, oh, I had something that's different from neurotypical people. I thought it wasn't like a big deal. I didn't like really notice any sort of like what autistic people would have. Like for example, uh, having extreme case like how do I put this? Like originally, like I think it was during college, like my I had like these tremors of some sorts, and he thought it was like some sort of rare abnormality, and
Mm-hmm.
so we had to go great lengths to see one of the top neurologists in the country, and they couldn't figure out after doing all these tests, neurological tests, blood work, and everything. They weren't able to pinpoint that. And
Mm-hmm.
recently, just now, after meeting with another neurologist and explaining how I have autism, it was just nothing but uh, a way to stim, basically.
Can you say that one
Uh,
more time?
yeah, so after all that testing from the hospital that I originally had, when I
Mm-hmm.
went to a different neurologist and sort of explained that how I have autism and my hands were shaking, he
Mm-hmm.
definitely concluded it was just more of like a just stimming. Like whenever my hands are shaking, whenever I feel nervous or anything, I just tend to shake a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't my thankfully my parents and everyone else, they were relieved. Like it wasn't anything serious or like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one one
Pro.
thing. And then just being extremely sensitive to like certain sounds, like
Mm-hmm.
someone banging the door or someone screaming. Like I real I react. I get really sensitive to those kinds of things. So that's another thing. And yeah, then I just sort of did some digging around, finding some YouTube videos on like about autism and ways to accommodate myself. I'll find you.
I feel like growing up, I not growing up, But I feel like in modern times, I hearing about autism, and it's definitely great to hear that there's so many different resources out there for people, and
Yes,
how it's more not normalized isn't the right word, but more accepted, I think, than it used to be for
yes,
previous generations. And it's something that
yeah. I still feel it's for our generation. It's still like that, to be quite honest, especially when it comes to the workplace.
I'm sorry, what was the last bit?
So, like how you mentioned, how the previous generation they can't really or fully grasp autistic people's needs and their
Mm-hmm.
accommodations. I still,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like that for this generation, especially when it comes to the workplace.
Especially when it comes to the what was the last part?
Workplace, like
Workplace. You
work.
know,
Yeah,
that does make sense, and it definitely depends on the specific workplace, which is I guess going back to what we were
yeah,
talking about earlier about the importance of having a
yes,
workplace that um, is like a good workplace versus a bad workplace. I
yeah,
feel that having
yeah,
a good workplace definitely trumps a like good job versus it has a really big impact on the
yes,
difference of between a good job and a bad job.
yeah. And thankfully, since the Autism Society is connected with the local state
Internship?
government, yeah, like these kinds of opportunities, they are fully aware of like these sorts of people coming in and trying their best to properly accommodate us autistic people.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really great to hear. And I'm glad to
Right.
hear that there are different resources out
Yeah.
there. And it definitely highlights the importance of using
Yeah.
resources. Um,
Yes. Yeah. And I know that I don't know if uh, I don't know if they're I don't think they're like other states out there that don't have the exact kind of have the same kinds of resources that I have here, which is
mm-hmm.
kind of unfortunate for those kinds of folks.
Mm-hmm. There is definitely a big difference between different states, but the more that I
Yeah,
learn about different states, um, and about the different resources that are out there for people, it definitely allows
yeah,
them to be more specific in the resources that they give out
yeah,
to their people
yeah, yeah.
and to fit their
So
needs
so
better.
yeah, yeah. Like in my state, for example, there is a division for vocational rehabilitation for people with disabilities. So I
Oh.
don't. I, Yeah, well, which the Autism Society also has connections with. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I I feel like very few states have that sort of have that department where uh, neurotypical people like me or anyone with a disability has those kinds of resources, which we talked about a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Well, it's great to hear that you are aware of these resources. Oh, actually, speaking of awareness, I think going kind of back to autism, and I think one
Yep.
thing about it being more accepted is the increase
Yes.
in awareness and about people speaking about it. And because I definitely see it, I'm a person stuck on TikTok, but I definitely see a lot
Mhm.
of neurotypical, not neurotypical. Um, what's the other word?
Neurodivergent.
Yes, thank you.
Neurodivergent.
I definitely see a lot of neurodivergent expression and awareness
Yes.
on social media. And I think that's definitely making it a lot more. It's something different
Yeah.
that the younger generations are being exposed to a lot younger and a lot
Yes.
earlier compared to other
Yeah.
generations. And I think it has um, impacted our generations to be a little bit more, at least at the very least, more
Yeah.
aware about the
Yeah.
differences in our society and differences between people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because my family grew up in a very like they were brought up in India in like the brought up in India. So during their time, like of course at that time it wasn't really a thing, but as just a
Mm-hmm.
culture in general, it's really like in all Asian countries, they're generally conservative, like in terms of these kinds of issues. Like, perfect example, I have a nephew in India who is also he's a very bright kid. He too has autism, but my cousin, his mom, has a difficult time sort of wrapping her mind about out mental about his son having autism and having
Mm-hmm.
to
How
manage
did
and deal with it.
mm-hmm. How
Like
did your
like I have
family
a
take your diagnosis? Did you
um
find that
yeah, I didn't have any sort of like negativity across it. Like they were fully accepting at what fully accepting of it, and they're doing their best to help me out, especially my mom.
Aw, that's actually really great to hear that you have a supporting family and people that are
Yeah,
open-minded. Um,
yeah,
especially when it comes to
yeah,
something that people culturally may not be as accepting to or at least aware about.
yeah, yes,
I think that really
yeah.
highlights the
Like
importance of awareness.
of yeah. I think I watched a really good YouTube video. Does the name Mark Manson ring a bell?
I'm terrible with names. I might know who you're talking about, but the name does not ring a bell.
He was the author of the subtle art about not giving a fuck.
Oh, I've heard of that
I
that
think,
book. I haven't read it, but
yeah,
I heard it's a
yeah,
pretty good read.
yeah, very good read, highly recommended. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, he did a YouTube video, documentary about uh, South Korea, and they're like why it's let me look up the YouTube video now. I forget the title of it, but he did something about the issue, the mental health issues in South Korea, and like like why it's that way in terms of and how it's stemming from their culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Why South Korea became the most suicidal country in the world.
Oh wow, what a title.
Yeah, yeah. So he just sort of explains about the upbringing of South Korea and the culture that they have developed since the Korean War, and how that
Mm-hmm.
slowly really has been affecting uh, the the younger generations, and sort of having to live up to those expectations that the culture has brought upon them. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Expectations and
and
culture. I think that's a really interesting point to bring up
yeah,
because there's definitely a lot of different expectations and a lot of
yeah,
expectations that culture puts upon us and then how it
yeah,
differentiates across the cultures.
yeah. The general like expectation in an Asian family, no matter whether it's Indian, Chinese or Korean, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
go to you get good grades at high school, you go to a good college, you get you get a good degree, and you work as a doctor or IT or whatever, and live the rest of your life happily. But to be honest, even now, like forget the fact about mental health. It's not even feasible now in this current generation.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned expectations from your culture, and then also you've mentioned earlier about feeling burnt out. Do you feel that the expectations um, that the expectations that you may be experiencing could lead to your burnout?
So, so thankfully, my parents don't have those typical Asian parent expectations. They
Mm-hmm.
are fully aware of what me and as a younger brother are capable of, and after their diagnosis, they are now fully more aware of what I can do. It's
Mm-hmm.
just us the general expectation of like, oh, I have to finish within within 2 years to finish my associates. It's just more of a general societal expectations, not
Mm-hmm.
specifically uh, about my parents.
Mm-hmm. How do you have any tips or tricks and advice for dealing with burnout? Or is there anything that you're specifically
Um,
doing to help you work through
um,
burnout?
yeah. So of course, number one, take naps.
Naps. Yes, you did mention that. Sleeping is so important.
Yeah. I would say for someone who is like majority of autistic, I won't say majority, but most autistic people, including myself, are very structured, very analytical. So like have a routine in place. Like for me, for
Mm.
example, I have a morning routine that consists of like doing between 5 to 15 minutes of yoga or stretching, and 5 to 15 minutes of uh, breath work and or meditation. So like keeping it simple, not to just find a routine that helps you get started for the day. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there you can sort of structure how you want your days to be.
That is actually great advice. I've definitely noticed that the days that I have a good start with my day, I have a better day in general versus the day that I just like
Yeah,
sit in bed and just scroll on my phone. I definitely do not do be as productive.
yeah,
And so that is
yeah.
great
And
advice.
and and also be aware. I know
Aware
it's
of
easier
what?
said than done. Like just your general surroundings, like it could be as simple as what you're eating or what you're doing at the current time and moment.
I kind of see what you're meaning about like being mindful and being present
Yes,
in your life. That is something that I
yeah,
have noticed for me specifically that kind of
yeah.
I've kind of been frustrated with
I,
myself
I
with
yeah.
being mindful
So
and living in the moment.
yeah, because before, without learning all this mindfulness and whatnot, I get like whenever something pops up, all of a sudden and it still occurs to me to say like I get whenever I get blindsided, I tend to freak out, which most people would
Mm,
feel like. But as an autistic person, uh, the reaction is overstimulated. So I sort of panic, sweat, think like certain like really negative thoughts and like oh my god, it's like the end of the world sort of thing.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you have a way with
Yeah.
kind of working yourself through it whenever there is something unexpected inevitably pop up?
Yeah, so I just take deep breaths. I have a backyard that I usually go out to. Right now it's really nice outside. I just go out there, take a deep breath, just walk around, and also like watch Twitch, watch you guys. I watch Pikachu. I watch many other positive-minded streamers just to wind myself down, and then once everything's been settled. But for me, it's not like immediate like thing. But I just recently found that if I take a nap, those kinds of thoughts will just subside.
That is actually really great advice. I've definitely learned a lot more about you and how to kind of work through burnout. Thank you so much for sharing,
Yeah,
Murder Bird, and thank you so much for being my first caller on stream.
no worries. No
Do you
worries.
have anything else that you'd like to share with chat, with share with stream, and maybe possibly YouTube, before we let you go?
Um, just a little bit of self-promo. I do stream as well. Mostly League of Legends. I was formerly a Quinn main, now sort of like branching off into playing meta top laners like Seth, Jaren, and Dr. Mundo. I also play Ari as well on the side for fun as well. So yeah, yeah.
Thank you. And guys, go check out Murder Bird Express, that Queen mean, and you can catch him on the Rift. Thank you so much for chatting and stopping by, Murder Bird.
Yep,
Have a good day.
yep. No worries. Yep. You too. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. We had a great chat with some wonderful people. Thank you guys for calling in, and keep an eye out for future videos and streams like this. The next time I'm gonna be streaming is gonna be May, with the Sunday. So whatever this Sunday is, May 25th. So next time we're gonna be streaming is gonna be May 25th, and that's gonna be probably around 7 p.m. EST.